All right, Hester, you're up.
Tim Hollis.
Hesterton.
Back in Holliswood.
Yeah, back in the Holliswood days.
Nice place, man. I like the place over here.
Thank you. I'm glad you like it. It's a good place to do this kind of stuff for sure.
Sure thing.
But yeah, I get a little history on me and old Hester. Guess we were neighbors, it's been about 15 years ago now.
Yeah, seems like it.
It's been a while.
Right across the yard.
Yeah, I basically lived in Bert's backyard, so that was always interesting.
Yeah, it was convenient.
Yeah, it was funny because one of the best memories I have of you is when me and some of my friends were out in the backyard. I guess we had like a fire or something going on back there, about 100 beers deep. And then you and what was the guy's name? Mike or
Keith Myers.
Keith.
I believe that was maybe one of the Timapaloozas, maybe. I think it might have been.
Yeah, I think it was a Timapalooza, but yeah, you guys rolled up in there. I don't know, y'all might have had a few, and you taught us something about drinking Jack Daniels that night.
Might have had a few. Yeah, a little bit. that was awful fun. Those young guys, they still laugh about that when I see them.
Yeah, so I always think about that, but yeah, we were neighbors, man. Saw the kids when they were all of our kids. Your three and my three, all young, and now they're all adults.
And that's something, man. All of them.
I know.
Gosh, mine are 28, 26, and 24 now. It's unreal.
Oh wow, mine are 25, 21, and almost 18 in April.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. You blink your eyes and they're adults.
I know it's very strange, but I appreciate you coming out here. You still live down the road there? The same place?
Man, same place. I think I've given up on my dream to go to Florida. Things are just getting a little out of hand down there, insurance wise and things. So I believe I'm gonna be a Fairview guy.
Yeah, were you trying to get out there?
Yeah, that was my plans. That was the goals, man. I was gonna get eventually when I got old and things, I was gonna move on down to around Pensacola Beach, Pensacola area. But
you're from out there originally, aren't you?
No,
you're from here and then you went there.
No, I'm from here. My ex-wife was from there. All the in-laws were there. Then my parents wound up buying there when they retired. So it's we got a lot of back and forth with Pensacola. I'm down there a lot. So
your brother live down there?
So he does, but he's talking about coming back. You know, our mother's getting a little up in age, and you know, when the two kids are 500 miles apart, it's not doing any good for her. We need to spend some time with her. So
yeah.
We're all trying to consider getting everything back together.
I was thinking about you this past week because me and Nikki went to Pensacola, and we were thinking of you while we were out there. I told her, I said, I need to get me a Pensacola hat. That way when he comes in here, he'll see me representing the beach there.
Nice.
But yeah.
It's like second home to me now, seems like.
Yeah. Well, so what's been going on with you for the past 15 years?
Nothing, man. Let's keep my nose above water, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you.
Still doing the stuff around schools, you know. Have some health issues, you know, watching the kids grow up, getting educated.
Yeah.
You know, got a new career. So
that's good.
You know, it's just living life, man, day to day. I enjoy it.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was every time I get on Fairview then and now, I always think about you because aren't you like an administrator on there or something?
Well, so that's kind of so
you always have to reel the people in when they get to complaining too much.
Well, you know, it's Henrietta had asked me, I don't know, a year or so ago, would I help her out? And wow, I didn't know what I was getting into, honestly. So
what's the problem on there? I know that. Let me give you my perspective of it. This is what I see. Since I'm more of like a Facebook stalker than a Facebook sayer.
There you go.
Just read all the stuff. I don't like it when I get on there and I see people post things like, does anybody know if the dump is open today?
Right.
It's like, you could have just Googled that.
Right.
Why didn't you just Google that? Why'd you have to get on on a social media?
Exactly.
And so there's things like that. And then there's all kinds of things. I don't know how much I should say about some of it because I'm actually directly involved in a few of the current happenings that are on there.
Yeah.
But so what do you do as far as administrating? Do you go in there and like take people off of there or cut down the post, or what do you do?
So I have, honestly, it was an adjustment for me because when you go in there, it's like you just said, there are things that aggravate you personally.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, I have the power to just push a button and wipe this out. And you got to compartmentalize those posts to where, hey, these folks may not actually know this, or hey, these folks are new to town. And even though I've seen something 25 times, the one post is important to them. So yeah, there's not really a lot I do. Most of the things I do is like when a yard sale is over, I'll go in and delete a post, or if a food truck is no longer at Tractor Supply, I'll delete a post, or, there's words that are flagged by Facebook, curse words that are flagged, and it takes care of those. But, I've thrown a few people off, mostly scammers. So you have, the dryer vent scammers and the car detail scammers and all the new scammers, and they get through. So yeah, I've thrown a couple people off, but I try not to be a police, let people talk, speak, as long as people do things tactfully and cordially, people don't have to agree on everything. It's just, just be tactful with each other.
Sometimes it gets a little heated on there, though.
It does.
Do you have to go in there and tell everybody to settle down or block them or anything?
Well, I really don't, but people are passionate. Everybody has a passion, whether it's saving dogs, saving cats, painting, buoys, everybody has a passion, and everybody feels strongly about their passion. And when people disagree with other people's passions, they tend to sometimes get out of hand. But we've really, I don't know, unless you're talking about somebody personally or I don't know, using foul language toward folks, I don't really try to step in that much. We get accused of over policing and always deleting people's stuff, but 9 times out of 10, the person deletes their own stuff and we just get accused of it. But
yeah, I was going to say, I always see it on there where somebody said, I posted this thing. Where did it go?
Yeah. And 9 times out of 10, we can find it for them and say, here it is. You just missed it. But, yeah, we don't do much of that. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes of that page. People don't have any clue of the private messages we get and some of the complaints we get on the back end.
What are they? What, you don't have to use any names or anything, but what are people complaining about?
Well, it's just like, it's just like middle school, 6th, 7th grade, somebody's tattling on somebody and they're sending us messages saying, they hurt my feelings or or this or that, or, it's more to what people see just on the page. There are times I take a step back and think, man, what have I gotten into here? But
how was Henrietta dealing with it? She was doing it. She does it by herself. She started it. What's the history?
So Henrietta came up with that. I don't know. It's probably 14 or 15 years old.
Yeah, I was going to say it's pretty. It's been there for a while.
Yeah, and she just created that page and just threw it out there, and man, it's 13 or 14,000 people strong now.
I looked it up. It was like 16,000.
Oh, is it now?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's funny because every now and then there's like a welcome the new members or whatever, and there's like 100 people, and I'm like, good Lord, how many people are coming in and out of here?
There's anywhere from 40 to 70 requests per day.
Really?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Now, granted, there's a lot of scammers and a lot of out-of-towners and a lot of people that are just being nosy. A lot of those aren't legit. And, a lot of the settings will take a lot of those folks out. But Yeah, Henrietta actually dedicates a lot of time. She actually goes through those, and
you're not getting paid or anything for it, or she's not getting paid.
No, not a penny.
Everybody needs to be nice to you guys.
Well, I mean, it's no, there's no pay to it. It's not even a hobby. It's just
So I guess somebody's got to manage it.
Yeah, well, I mean, we just bounce on when we bounce on and take a look around, and people report things all the time, and that throws flags for us, and we go out and look to see if it needs to be looked at by an administrator, or 9 times out of 10, it's nothing to it. So,
yeah,
it's totally unpaid. Nobody's picking on anybody. We're not looking for somebody. We're not deleting people's posts just because they are somebody. It's just it just is what it is. We try to have fun and let everybody enjoy the community. And
yeah. Well, it's good to have a place like that where people can go and say the things, but it's a double-edged sword. There's always going to be somebody out there messing around and doing something stupid or hurting somebody's feelings, and then there's the people that need to quit getting their feelings hurt all the time.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, the biggest thing I deal with is she clearly asked, don't complain about businesses, because if you can't go to a business and talk directly to a manager or the owner, don't put it on the Facebook page. Put it on your personal page, just not, the big page because honestly, nobody cares.
I know.
No, if I'm missing 2 chicken McNuggets and I put it on Facebook, nobody cares. They don't care.
Yeah. Well, people get their feelings hurt, and they want justice.
Oh yeah.
They want to. I mean, is it going to affect how many people are going to go to McDonald's? But what it does affect is the places that are local, like Thompson's Kitchen or something that. Yeah. And I really don't see too many bad posts like that anymore. But there was a stretch there where every other thing was like somebody complaining about food, a food place.
Well, I think people have understood. We really just don't want it. You have at it, but just do it on your personal page. And the other big thing is, people are always wanting to give away something or sell something cheap or help somebody by, a freebie here or something. That's another thing. There are plenty of sites out there that are buy sell trades, and we just don't want it on this page because
like somebody trying to, sell a car or something like that.
Yeah, or hey, they'll take a picture of this and say free at this address, come pick it up, stuff like that. We don't really want to turn the page into that. We don't want to turn it into a complaint page.
Isn't there already pages for that for Fairview?
Tons of pages.
Well, why are they doing on Then and Now then?
That's where everybody feels comfortable, I guess.
I was going to say it's probably more because it's a one-stop shop.
Exactly.
There, because there's probably a hell of a lot more people on that one than on those other ones.
Yeah, but, for the most part, you see, the same folks post. You see the same folks comment. You know who the clowns are. You know who the folks are that like to, joke and cut up and make people smile. You know who the folks are that take, you learn your users and your group members. And I don't know. I got, I myself, before I was an administrator, I was one of those most sarcastic guys there, but I try to.
You don't hardly ever get on there anymore.
Well, I'm on there a lot. I'm just not, I don't interact with folks. People tend to hold me to a higher standard for some reason. I'm still just the same old guy with the same old personality, but just because it says admin stamped over by my name, I'm supposed to be some role model or something. So.
Well, you are. I mean, you are kind of like the unspoken mayor of Fairview.
Yeah,
I don't know if you know
about
that.
all that.
I don't know if you know that, but everybody thinks that you're the mayor of Fairview. You should be.
I'll stick to football, man.
Yeah, that's good.
I like sports. I've over the years I've had folks ask me several times, "Hey, is this the year you're going to run for board, or is this the year you're going to run for something?" And I just can't muster up the interest. I can't do it, man. Politics just.
Well, hell, you see what it's like on that Facebook page. Imagine that in your life all the time.
Well, I tell you, the mayor, the commissioners, those folks work hard. Oh, yeah. It's not just boring meetings they go to, and boring motions and all that. They work hard on the side, studying up on things, and
Yeah, all those people, all the police, all the people involved on there. People don't know, how much work's involved in all that.
yeah. It's a lot of work. It's now Commissioner Buffalini, you kind of see and hear what these folks go through. He used to just be, Don, our buddy Don that helped out and did this and did that and called ball games, and now he's Commissioner Don. And man, you see how things take a twist where you got to be at meetings and you're always fielding phone calls and stuff like that. So, yeah, I don't know that politics is ever going to be in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, I know. I mean, but there's people like you where you'll be the unwritten mayor of Fairview.
Well, that's all right. As long as we have fun with it and I don't have official business, it's all right.
Yeah, exactly. You just get to do the fun part of it. Go out, shake some hands, hug some babies and all that.
Yeah, man, I enjoy folks. I still do. So
yeah, I mean, we had a great time when we were neighbors, going down to La Plaza, hanging out down there.
Oh yeah.
And you just the second you go through the door, everybody knows, like, hey, we're about to have some fun.
Well, in my younger day, I'll tell you, things have caught up with me. So
yeah, well, I understand that. That's for sure. I mean, we ain't getting any younger.
That's true. But with sports and things around town, I've met so many folks. That's another thing about the page. You hear folks talk about the newcomers. Man, I tell you, I've met folks in Fairview that have moved in from all corners of America. I have, man. Texas, Green Bay, Brooklyn. I've met some great folks. I wish folks would give these people a chance and get to know them and introduce themselves to them, because I'll tell you, you meet some great folks. You really do.
A lot of people have this. I don't really think like this, but I understand why people do think like this. When people are moving from California to here or something, and they think they're going to bring their politics or whatever with them. Sure. But a lot of times that those people are trying to get out of whatever they're in, and they want to be a part of a small town. You've only got a handful of people that are usually like just trying to bring whatever they had from wherever they came from. But a majority of the people that come here are wanting to live this country life that we have.
So actually, the guy that lives in your old house, my neighbor, yeah. He is a 70-year-old retiree from California. When the last folks put that house up for sale, he bought it over the internet, sight unseen, cash money. And his truckload of pods just showed up one day. And I've gotten to know him, I don't know, over the last couple of years. And it's just like you just said. He wanted away from the craziness that is California, the lawlessness, homelessness, everything that's out there. That's why he's here. He's not here to change anybody's politics. He didn't want a California or Fairview, nothing like that. He just wants to blend in. And he's a great neighbor. He really is. And, I've met several folks, California, Texas, like I said, Brooklyn. And these folks, they're leaving something. And it just so happens that we knew about this secret way before these folks did. It's just people are catching on now, and they get to enjoy it like we have for all these years. It's just
in the last podcast I did, I was kind of telling people about my background. Like, I've lived here all of my life, and you're right. This is like the best kept secret.
Yep.
And now it's kind of getting out there. Well, it's getting out there a lot. Obviously, you can look around town and see everything that's coming up and all the things that are happening, which I personally don't mind it. There's a lot of people that are like, no, we can't have any of these things coming up. We're losing the small town feel. It's like, I don't know. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like we're losing the small town feel? I mean, we can't get much bigger than we are, No,
I mean, it's still small. It's still small town, but the traffic is big town traffic.
Yes, that's a problem.
But, the thing is, people always talk about, we have 3 Mexican restaurants. We have 3 of this. We have 3 of that. Well, that's because 3 Mexican restaurants chose to invest in this city. They took the risk. They took the gamble. They opened a business. And that's what it takes. Yeah, you know,
You know what's funny about that is every time a new Mexican restaurant opened, you know, especially over the past 10 or 15 years, you're just like, all right, well, two of them, they're going to kind of go at each other. And then you have a third one and you're kind of like, all right, somebody's going to go out of business. But they don't.
They don't.
All of them are rocking and rolling.
Exactly. And if you go by on a Saturday night, a Monday night, they're all busy, and everybody has their favorite, and that's where they are, and they're surviving, and that just tells you.
Yeah, well, we need some. I'm fine with it. I don't care if there's a few. 'Cause actually, I go to all of them, and then I go to some out of town.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, everybody likes Mexican food, but it would be nice to have, even something as ridiculous as like an Applebee's or somewhere to sit down and eat. I mean, Jefferson's is fine. I like Jefferson's. I go there at least once a week, but we need more options like that. But I guess it's a matter of if somebody was going to come in and open it.
Man, somebody's got to take that risk. And, you can't just talk about it. You've got to do it.
Yeah. Well, that's the one thing you can say about Armando. And we knew that from years ago, talking to him at La Plaza, that man he's living the American dream.
Sure.
He's an entrepreneur. He's not scared to try something new. And if it doesn't work, he'll shut it down and do something else.
But he always succeeds because he offers a great product at a great price, and he knows how to treat people.
Yes, he's like the other mayor of Fairview.
I tell you, man, he is the most hospitable owner, manager, neighbor, business person that you could know. And I enjoy frequenting his businesses, and I enjoy, interacting with him to this day. Seems like his kids are grown now. We watched them grow up from La Plaza, 7, 8 years old, running the cash register and busting tables. They're just hardworking folks, and they know how to treat customers. And, like I said, I enjoy frequenting his establishments.
Every time I go in there, because there was a while I wasn't going to any of them. I just kind of shut down and, just cooking at home, doing that kind of stuff. But I go back in there. It's always like, "Hey, comandante," or "Hey, you seen Senor Bert?"
I tell you,
he knows everybody.
Yeah, I got to. I ate in there just the other night and got to sit down at the bar and watch, some pay-per-view boxing. Came on late one night, and just like the old days, way back in the day.
Like I hadn't been in there. I hadn't been to Kano's in a while. It'd probably been about 6 months, and in that time, I went in there and he had redone like that whole new bar that's over there.
Man, it looks beautiful.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. He's got all kinds of beers on tap now. It's not just a few.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful in there. And he does live music on the other sides on Friday nights, and trivia is just always slam packed out there. It's just he just knows how to make folks enjoy the experience.
Yeah, I'm trying to get him to come on this. I texted him after I texted you and asked him if he'd be interested in doing it, and he said yes. He's going to get back to me, but I don't know when he would have time to do anything.
It'll be a great interview. He will.
Well, I want to talk to him just about his upbringing and just like just where he gets his work ethic from. To what I love about him, I think obviously he's a hard worker, but I like the fact, because I've seen this over the years, you have too. It's like he'll try something. He's always thinking he's got this big idea, and it'll completely bomb.
Yeah,
and he'll just say okay, and he'd scrap it and then try something else. And
but you never grow if you don't try.
Exactly. And he's an entrepreneur for sure.
Yeah, you don't grow if you don't try new things, and sometimes you just have to say, well, that failed, and move in a new direction. But yeah, you're right.
I told him, me and him have been talking the past couple of years. I've been, I always give him a hard time about all the places that he opens. I'm like, man, you got to quit opening these Mexican restaurants. Let's open a steakhouse. And he's like, you can see like the gears turning.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, it's like he wants to do it. And like, we've been talking about it. I guess they're about to develop over there beside Jefferson's. And we've been talking about possibly doing something with that. But it'd be awesome to go into business with Armando. He's the person that you want on your side. Definitely go out and get him kind of guy. Yeah,
he's definitely not, when the Country Cafe closed, golly, we lost a staple right there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't. I do football games and stuff with a couple of commissioners now, and the old vice mayor, and I hear some of the things going on in town. But We call ourselves the Booth Boys. Shout out to you guys, Steve, Brandon, Chris, Don.
Well,
But we don't really talk politics and stuff like that. I guess I could probably find out more, but we don't really do that. We just enjoy Friday nights, So I'm not really up and up, man. If I don't learn it on the then and now page, I don't really know what's going on.
no, I hear you. Well, I want to talk to you about that. Let's rewind for a second here. And I want to get to, if you can just tell me kind of the background on, people also, you're not only the mayor, but you're also the voice of Fairview. And so I want to talk to you about, like, how did you get to that point and how did you get into doing all that?
So, let me just start by saying that I've stepped back quite a bit from the things that I used to do. So, in the unfortunate event where the prior announcer in football games, Keith Davidson, he had an unfortunate health event, and we lost him several years back, and the need came up. I guess it was in May, I think. So the need came up, and the Booster Club approached Coach Hughes, and Coach Hughes, he went with that and had to go through the administration. They had to, stamp their seal of approval. So that's what got me into high school football. And then the middle school came calling, asking would I be interested in doing their football games. And, the folks around town would ask, for 5Ks at Bowie Park or the Christmas parade or I did basketball. So it got to where there were a lot of different things that I was doing, and it came to a point where I needed to take a step back and have some me time versus always volunteering and stuff. So,
well, what do you mean? Like, what were you doing? Just like volunteering for the events for like?
Yeah, well, there are a lot of events. If people are always asking for somebody to announce or do an MC, and there's always events in succession. So it seemed like, like during football season, I may do a middle school game, a high school game, and then 3 Titan junior pro games.
Yeah. So you're announcing on all those?
Yeah, I was. And it was just getting to where I needed to peel back a little bit.
That's a lot.
And have some time for myself. So that kind of brought me back to that. And then, basketball, I've kind of learned that I really like the view from the stands. I like to watch the game and watch the game, how it progresses. And I like to watch the coaching staff. And I just like to watch the game. But if I'm down at the announcer's booth, I don't get the same view, and I don't get to enjoy the game like I do. So it's a difference between watching a ball game and working a ball game.
Yeah.
So a lot of folks don't really understand that, but you're working or you're watching. So I work football games. I like to watch basketball games, but Commissioner Buffalini, he tell you what, when he moved into town, he loves doing that stuff. He's an old DJ, did some club work, and he loves doing that stuff. So, man, he stepped right in, and he's taking basketball. Now that he's a commissioner and he gets double booked on some basketball games, I kind of help him out and try to, work with the schools to do the stuff that Don can't do. But, man, Don brings an energy and excitement to basketball and just anything he does. He does Titan games, the little Titan games, but that's kind of how I got into it. And I kind of held on to middle school football and high school football. And I still do, we still do some volunteer work around town. But, yeah, that's kind of how I got into it. I just happened to luck right in right at the right time. And unfortunately, the event with Keith is what opened the spot up. So
I remember when all that happened, and we were neighbors for a long time, and I knew that you like sports, but I thought it was kind of like a broad thing. I didn't know that you were that into it. And then when I heard you were doing it, I was like, I mean, you got the perfect voice for doing that kind of stuff. But
Well, I mean, it was broad at first, but like I said, I've kind of narrowed it down. Man, I just love it. I don't know. I'm sure people see it on the then and now, but man, I just love. I'm awful proud of my alma mater here in Fairview.
Yeah.
Class of 1989. I
got
enjoy Yellow Jacket athletics. I enjoy Falcon athletics. I enjoy athletics. I just do.
Yeah. I'm 99, so we were 10
years, huh?
10 years apart. Well, give me a run through of how that works, because I always thought that if you were an announcer doing that type of stuff, you had to, know all about this. I mean, are you just, how do you just call the numbers of the people, or how you do that?
So I tell you, like on a Friday night, there's a team of us. So there's not just like me, or there's a team of us. So all I do basically is talk into a microphone. I have a teammate right beside me, Mr. Steve Ballas. So he does the timeout musics, and he plays the hype music during the timeouts and stuff, which he's also my spotter with a pair of binoculars. So he's telling me who ran the ball, who made the tackle, where's the ball, what yard line. So I have Steve in my left ear telling me what's going on.
And you just repeat it after he...
Basically, yeah.
Wow.
So if he told me the ball was on the 70-yard line, I may just say that. I don't know. But just to his left is former Vice Mayor Brandon Butler. He runs the scoreboard, keeps the scoreboard in the play clock. So all this stuff is a job in itself.
Yeah, it sounds like. I thought that you're like literally watching it, because I always wondered. I'm like, well, how do they see all those little things that are happening? I thought that you're just you got a guy in your ear telling you everything's going on.
I have Steve in my left ear telling me who made the tackle, what the numbers are. I have two rosters that I'm reading numbers off of. Former Vice Mayor Brandon Butler, he's running the clock. And then just to his left is Commissioner Chris McDonald. So he runs the 40-second play clock. So every play, there's a 40-second clock that's ticking. So that's all he focuses on. And then we usually have a actual striped referee he's either in the booth with us or he's on the field, but they're always yelling at us because we're always messing something up, or the clock didn't stop or something. And then you have Commissioner Buffalini. So Don Buffalini, man, he's just like a Swiss Army knife. He's always running around. The guy's just always on the go. He's helping us. Telling us what's going on, patching up things, duct taping things, splicing wires together. We're trying to get speakers to work, and it's just a lot of fun, man. There's a great team up there. And
I had no idea that it was that much work. Is it like that with the pro stuff too? Is it the same function, or I'm sure they got some fancy way of doing it?
Oh yeah, I wouldn't know, but I'm sure it's way more elaborate than what we do. But
I think that stuff's awesome. That I don't know much about sports, but I do know that what you're doing out there is definitely it's not an easy task. I didn't realize that. For me, I get distracted so easy in my head. I don't know how you would listen to somebody telling you something and you got to repeat it, or someone else is telling you something else. Doesn't it get all crowded in there?
It does. It has before. But I mean, everybody has a thing to do, and everybody does it, and we just have we have a blast, man. Somebody's always bringing food on Friday nights, so yeah, it's a lot of fun. The Booth Boys, they make it enjoyable.
The Booth Boys.
Yeah, that's what we call ourselves.
You guys get fired up when the new season's about to start?
Yeah, man, you get excited about it. You really do, and it's a lot of fun. It just really is.
You get to know the kids and all that out there?
Yeah, a lot of them. You get to know, you get to know the players. You get to know their parents, their grandparents. We have a little lady that sits right outside our window to the right, and man, she makes us some of the best brownies ever.
Wow!
And she'll bring them in. It's great, I tell you.
Yeah, it's like a whole reunion every Friday night.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. And then I don't know. It's crazy when you walk through that gate, you see that gorgeous turf field, man, and that bright yellow. It just, you hear that music, it just gets you excited. I don't know.
Yeah, it's sad to say, but I haven't been to a football game since I graduated high school, and that feeling that you just said right there, like when you open those gates and you see the field. I was the band geek.
Oh yeah,
back then.
Well, that's all right.
I was in the marching band, and I remember that when those gates were open and we're about to march down there on the field, and the people are out there. It was the best feeling in the world.
So, man, I tell you what, the Sound of Gold marching band, they're great.
Are they?
Yeah, it's not quite the size that they used to be back in the day, but they're hardworking kids. And man, you know how those days at band camp are out in the parking lot, and the hours, and man, they do a great show year after year, regardless of what they choose. It's just that's another whole different part of Friday Night Football is watching the Sound of Gold. They're awesome.
I need to go and check them out because, like, I have a lot of respect for those kids that do that. Obviously, the kids that are playing sports, I know that there's so much that goes into that, conditioning and all that, but also the band stuff. I remember when we'd be out there learning the drills and doing all the things in summer when we're out there in the parking lot practicing it. It's like, you as the person don't really see the big picture. You just know that I've got 10 steps to get to this hash mark over here.
Yeah.
I've got 10 steps to go over here. And then I'm supposed to turn and do this. And then when you watch the video back while you're playing the music or whatever you're doing, and then you watch the video back, you're like, oh, wow, we did this formation thing. Yeah. So I need to check them out if nothing else.
That's kind of like like we were talking a while ago about what all goes on in our booth. It's unbelievable. It really is on a Friday night what it takes to put a football game on between the local businesses sponsoring the night, working the concession stand, and that is work. I mean, work. And you have the guys in my booth. You have the guys up above me that's doing all the stats for the football team and keeping everything for Coach Hughes and his guys. And then not only the band, you have the Fairview Yellow Jacket Battalion, ROTC, which I know Eli was always big into.
Oh, yeah.
But we all coordinate together, so it's like a synchronized
let's put
opera between, the band, the ROTC, us. Everything is timed, and, we try to stay on time, but, it's a big picture that goes on.
You're putting a production on
pretty much
with all of it, and then when you finish it, you're just like, okay, well, I screwed this up, or I need to work on this. It's like you just kind of, and then when you get to the end of the season, you're like, all right, man, I think we nailed it, and then the season's over.
Yeah, we critique ourselves weekly, pretty much. Always looking to be better, but at the end of the day, you don't have to be perfect, and we don't have a script, and we just do it fly by night. But at the end of the day, it's moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas and aunts and uncles and brothers and sisters. They just want to hear their kid's name. That's really all it is, man. If Johnny makes a tackle, they want to hear that. If Johnny scores a touchdown, that's what they want to hear. That's really all it is, man. So
they want to hear your voice telling them that.
The
announcer just said my son.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it just so happens when folks come to Fairview, Tennessee to watch a football game, I happen to be the first thing they hear.
Yeah. So, no, you're right. You're right.
They see the field, they see, the smoke rising from the concession stand, they smell the hamburgers, but I am the first thing they hear. And, I always welcome them to Fairview, and, even though they're, the opposing team, I always welcome them to Fairview because, they made a conscious decision, some of them, to drive an hour and a half to Fairview, Tennessee, and watch a football game. So, I'm the first thing they hear. So I try to make it as pleasant as possible when they do hear me. So,
well, no, I mean, you're definitely a personable person, and good to. Your voice would be a good first voice to hear in Fairview.
Well, I think the key to it is welcoming folks to Fairview, because I'm awful proud of this town. I'm awful proud of that school. I'm proud of that gorgeous football field that people get to see. And so I'm working with my, People always ask me, they're like, man, why do you welcome people and ask people to clap their hands for visiting teams? And, it just felt right. The first time I ever did my first game, and I got on the microphone and I looked across and I saw all the people that had driven like an hour to Fairview, and it just felt right. They made a conscious decision. So I start every game I do, whether it's baseball, basketball, football, I always welcome the visiting fans.
Well, that's this town's nature, is to be welcoming, and to, you guys, you can have the battles of the different schools and the different cities and all that, but at the end of the day, we're all people just looking to watch a good football game.
Yeah. So I'm on my third high school principal, probably my third middle school principal, and probably 2 or 3 athletic directors, and not a one of them has ever come to me and said, don't do that. So, these folks trust me on their microphone. They trust me that, I represent their schools behind the microphone. So,
that's a lot of responsibility. You could go in there and and completely bomb it, but
well, that's been done before, not by me, and I aim to keep it that way. So,
you don't want to bomb that.
No, not at all.
So what about so you said you only do the football now? You only watch the basketball games?
I love watching basketball. I love watching Coach McCoy, Coach Brown, the girls' teams. Basketball's a fast sport.
Wasn't Nick into that a lot when he was in high school?
Yeah, so Nick went through playing. Nick's 6'7", so he had a pretty good basketball career here at Fairview, and that's kind of what, I don't know, it kind of rejuvenated my passion for it, I guess. But I tried it in announcing, and you're down eye level you don't get to see the game the same way you see the game in the stands. And it's a fast game that you have to do the announcing for. And like I said, this year I did some fill-in work for Commissioner Buffalini because he was double booked on some nights. I did enjoy getting back into it and doing some fill-in work. And it's fun, but I also like being a fan of basketball.
Yeah.
There's definitely a difference between working a game and watching a game.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's awesome though. I'm glad to hear the story behind all that, because I knew that when Keith Davidson had passed away that you had taken it over, and just see how that was going for you. You've been doing it for a while.
Oh man, I don't know, what, 8 years, maybe 7, 8 years. I don't know. And I kind of felt weird because
it's never a good situation. Like you're filling in for it was unexpected, so it's not like they had to do something. But
you know what? Bless her heart, Miss Betty and Mr. Guy Davidson. I kind of went to him and talked to him, and I was like, I don't know, they kind of want me to step in for Keith, and they're like, well, you do it. He wouldn't want anybody else doing it. So I kind of had their blessing, this kind of puts you in an awkward spot.
Yeah, it is very awkward. I know Guy and Betty. My dad was really good friends with them. They worked together, and they definitely would be fine with that.
Yeah, they gave me their full blessings. So I thought, man, let's roll with this. So I've had a blast. I really have.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. Well, let's talk a little bit about like all the new stuff coming on in Fairview. What are your thoughts on all that? We talked about it a little bit with the growth and the restaurants. Do you know if they have any plan for this traffic situation, because it's getting to be nightmarish?
So, I don't know the plans, but that's another one of those on the then and now page that gets rehashed about every 3 months.
People just complaining about the traffic. Yeah, we know. Hey, everybody, we know it sucks.
And I think the official answer has been regurgitated 100 times or so on there.
Yeah.
So yes, that is officially on the books with TDOT, and a red light and a new level site plan at Cumberland, and 4 lanes all the way through town. I think that's all. It's well documented and well answered.
Yeah, but
that's all on the books with TDOT. Now, Will it ever happen, and when will it happen with TDOT? Nobody in Fairview knows that.
That's definitely a toss up there.
Yeah, and the Fairview government has absolutely nothing to do with Highway 100.
Yeah, no control of it.
Yeah, when you see people say, well, the city just doesn't do this and the city doesn't this, it's nothing to do with the city. It's 100% TDOT. It's been answered 100 times.
Yeah, the landscape company that I work for did all that landscaping down through the four ways there, and everybody had such a problem with it. And we were like, we would, if we designed it, our company, we would have done something awesome. But that's what they told us to do.
Right.
And so people were just like, I remember this was several years ago, but they were hammering us.
I remember that.
They're just getting on us about it. We're like, look, we had nothing to do with any of it. We just got paid to do the job of the plans that TDOT put together.
I remember that.
And look at it now. It's just it would be better off looking the way that it did before that.
So, I mean, you talk about some of the newer stuff and you look at the DMA, the medical building there, the Good Lark. Yeah. I mean, and then what's that? What's the other one? Covenant.
Oh yeah.
So I mean that building's been wildly successful. It's always busy. There's always folks there. There are patients that are completely dedicated to those folks. So and then you got there's a new place coming next door, Papa John's.
Yeah, Papa John's.
What else?
They're throwing that thing up pretty quick. Over there.
So there's a nail salon going in there. There's a credit union going in there. There's a Verizon going in there.
Yeah,
Verizon stores going in there. And I don't know what the fifth one is. Actually, a kid that was working on it, he told me what those four were, but I don't know what the fifth one is yet. So
yeah.
But, a Verizon store is going to be good, I believe. And, there's always somebody who's going to like Papa John. How many pizza places is that now? 4?
Yeah, we got Pizza Hut, Domino's, Snappy's.
And, I'll tell you, if Commissioner Buffalini ever finds a spot for the Villa View Italian spot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm blessed. I'm lucky to have reservations to his Italian night on the 30th. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah,
that's awesome.
And then I heard you guys talking on the other podcast about the gymnasium. Right at the end of Old Nashville Road. Man, what a building! Holy smokes!
Well, when they broke ground, me and Nikki were driving by there. I'm like, oh, they're breaking ground over there. I'm like, I wonder what they're building. So you get on Fairview then and now and. People say that it's like a gymnasium or something. I just kind of blew it off. But then as they started building, they said it was a dance studio or something like that.
Kind of all in one, I believe.
But then when they started building the thing, I mean, this thing is massive. Right in the middle of Fairview, I was like, good Lord. Is this a local person putting this in or is this like a chain or something?
No, it's a local person. It's a local folks. I won't discuss names because I don't think that's my business, but it's, I don't think it's any secret. There's nothing nobody can't just look up.
Yeah.
The place is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
I mean, it's beautiful.
It's a very nice building, but I guess what was surprising to me on it, because I don't really care either way, but I didn't realize there's such a need for that. Is there that many people, but like what Mike was saying that was on the other podcast, he said that, people would come to Fairview for it. Like, I guess in my mind, I was just thinking, because we've grown up here and it's always been like, you have to go, you're going to drive 30 minutes somewhere to get to something, but maybe people are coming here for it.
I don't know, Tim. I don't know if you go back to when we were kids and really all you had out here was baseball. Now you got football. You've got hundreds and hundreds of kids in a soccer program. And, who knows? And even if there's not the need for it now, somebody gambled and took a chance.
Yeah.
And are planning to build that business to where there is a need. I mean, somebody stepped up.
Yeah. You got to step up. You got to step up to...
Instead of talking about it, somebody stepped in there and invested.
Yeah.
And, the kids of Fairview and the neighboring communities are going to have if the inside looks anything like the outside, they're going to have a wonderful facility.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure that facility will be beautiful inside.
Yeah. So, it's going to be interesting. Good for them.
Yeah, I imagine it'll be open sooner than later. It looks like they've at least wrapping up the outside of it.
I would say so. So I can remember way back, that lot right there had been discussed and looked at by several folks.
Yeah.
Even back to way back in the day, Taco Bell, several folks looked at that same lot. So yeah, I know that, man, they invested.
Yeah.
Between the lot and that building, man, they have invested in that spot.
Yeah.
Good. I mean, good. It's a great looking building.
It'll be good. I remember when I was a kid, I always tell my kids this, that, I remember when they built the Hardee's and the original one, not the second one, where La Plaza is now. And then we got the Sonic. And then I remember we got a Subway coming in. And then, all through my childhood, I'm talking like 10 years old, 10, 15 years old, they talked about, we're going to put a Walmart out here. And I'm like, we never saw the Walmart. And then all of a sudden, like, they broke ground and we had us a Walmart.
So you remember the rumor used to always be that Walmart bought the whole exit down there where, down there where, the old truck stop and stuff, where Walmart bought the whole exit. That's where a huge Walmart's going. Yeah. We always heard that rumor and it never happened.
Yeah. And then they threw it up over there.
Yeah.
Which, it's funny because I hear people say all the time, because, years ago before we got the Walmart out here, because that's where I either go to Walmart or Publix, but like we'd have to drive out to Charlotte Pike.
Yep. Or Dixon.
And and those are awful, man. But people tell us all the time that like they drive from Bellevue or from Dixon just to go to our Walmart because it's nicer.
I hear people say that all the time. They came from, of course we draw mostly a lot of the folks from Hickman County, but I've heard folks from Kingston Springs, Dixon, they come to Fairview to shop because it's just not as crazy. It's a clean store. It's a polite store, and they enjoy it. So I didn't really expect that, but it is what it is.
Well, for the several years that it's been there now, they've still maintained that it's a really nice Walmart to go into.
Yeah, it is. They've and that management down, the store management and employees, you see, those employees, a lot of employees you see in there, they've been there since day one, since they opened it. There are folks in there have been with Walmart for 25 and 30 years. It's amazing. But
it just shows you the management and all the people that are working there, because you see the same people there enjoy their job, enjoy the people that they're working with.
They wouldn't be there if they didn't. Yeah.
And that's great. That's all you can ask for when you have a job like that. I was going to talk to you too about the, you remember back in the day before Publix and all that was there, when you had the old honky tonk out there on Friday nights? Yeah. It's like I was trying to tell somebody about that. They just couldn't wrap their mind around. I was like, no, you got to let me set the scene for you. It's like the fire station was there, and it was all like, falling to pieces buildings that are all there. But then on Friday night, man,
it was like one long white building at one time. And I think you had Mr. Randy Burkett on one end. He sold used cars. And then if you came down the building, I think there was a muffler shop in there.
Yeah, muffler shop.
And then if you come on down the building, that's where I'm pretty sure now that's where the original Mr. Danny Binkley's Binkley Opry, the Junkyard Opry started. Because if you remember,
the Junkyard Opry,
they used to play music in there, and people would park, and it was kind of dangerous because people were parking across the road at the Shell, and they were always crossing the road there and going to music night.
Well, and it was the Shell before it was the Shell that it is now. It's like that old rundown, that old rundown trailer over there.
Yeah, owned by the Springers, absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's nice to talk to you about that, because there's so many people that are either new around here or even telling my kids about it, what it looked like, because they never saw any of that, and that's what it looked like when we were growing up.
And the little bitty aluminum volunteer fire was right there. I don't know, right around where Circle K is now, probably.
Yeah,
just a little bit to the left. Yeah, but I mean, gosh, that's not that long ago. There are a lot of folks in town that can go way back further than that. I think somebody had told me one time there was a motel or a hotel right in there somewhere. I don't know.
I believe
that's way back before my day.
Well, back when I was younger, I talked about this on my last podcast about how, I've grown up here. So I've been here for a long time. And even in that time between then and now, I mean, it's just amazing to see all the stuff back at the There was the Bradfords back there where the co-op was.
Right.
What else? There was all that stuff over there where the Publix used to be. I remember it was a big deal when the Fairview Library.
So you remember the pharmacy at the end of the Bradford store?
Yeah, yeah.
What was that called?
Can't remember.
Mr. Preston was the pharmacist.
Yeah, Mr.
I believe my old neighbor, Mr. Kevin Bland, I think he worked in there, but that was a great little place.
Yeah.
And
Jingo was there, Jingo Market. This was pre Jefferson's and Oscars or whatever it was before.
Yeah, so my great uncle, Mr. Lloyd Thompson, built that place. Mr. Lloyd Thompson, he was married to Annie Mae Thompson, which was my grandfather's sister.
Wow.
Yeah, so we grew up around Mr. Lloyd and Lowell. So it's two brothers married to two sisters. That's so double. But what else was I going to say? So like, you can't talk about Fairview without Mr. Thomas Taylor's store or Miss Janetti's store.
Yeah.
Or you remember way back on the end of that strip mall was our tiny little post office.
Yes.
Yeah. It's something else, man. I'll tell you.
It is. It's funny because I haven't thought a lot of this. I wasn't planning on even talking about any of this with you. It's kind of like coming up in my mind as we're talking about it, but I haven't thought about that stuff in years. And it's just thinking about that now compared to what it was then. It's crazy.
So I remember, 35 years ago when I was a senior in high school, we would get in our car. We would just go to one end of Fairview and turn around and come back to the other end of Fairview and turn around, and then we'd turn around and go back to the other end of Fairview.
Yeah.
And just hoping that we ran into some ladies in another car, and then we'd stop by one of the payphones in town. But gosh, back in those days, there was nothing on this highway.
Nothing. It was just like a pass through. I remember I would tell the kids all the time, I'm like, man, back in the day, like Fairview was the laughing stock of Williamson County.
Absolutely.
We were the armpit of Williamson County.
Absolutely.
And it's like now it's like everybody's moving here. I mentioned before that I was renting a house out there on Pengrove. And I was like, I'll just have this as a rental. And then it got so crazy here. I was like, I need to get in while the getting's good and just sell the thing.
People talk about the traffic now, but back in the old days, it was nothing to get behind 2 or 3 tractors on the highway or a horse-drawn wagon. I mean, it was just old farmland back then, and you just you don't see that anymore. It's pretty amazing. I don't get out as much as I used to, but it is. I used to be one of those folks that would read things on Then and Now and say, man, why are people always whining about subdivisions and this and that? And I never understood it.
Yeah.
Until it started coming down my road.
I was going to say, it's down your road now.
It's down my road.
Yeah.
And man, you get a couple of 50-house subdivisions, and then you get another bigger subdivision, and the traffic has increased tenfold. The speeds have increased tenfold, and it's horrible.
Yeah.
And I was wrong. I now understand what people were talking about then.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
Yeah.
Because even now, there's one subdivision now, I think it's 50 going in, but man, they are putting these houses up fast, and every morning it's 2 or 3 loads of lumber come flying down the road, and 5 or 6, 7 or 8 dump trucks flying down the road. And then you get all the workers that are working in the subdivision. They could care less about your street or your neighbors or your community, and they are flying down the road. And man, it's horrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
It's hard to deal with it. I'm definitely blessed being here. Like, I don't think they're going to try to sell any of this, but we're about as big as we're going to get over here in this area. I was like, but yeah, I think that, I think growth is good. I think it's all, I don't have a problem with it really. And of course I'm in that mindset of like, it's not really affecting me right here, and I'm happy right here. So I understand the people where it's like, coming into where they're living. The only thing I really care about is the whole traffic situation, which obviously they'll get to it when they get to it. But yeah, it's crazy to see how much this place has grown. I'm a lifelong Fairviewan. I know that I'm never going to leave. It originally started with like, all right, well, I'm going to raise my family here. Or now it's like, well, when the kids get out of school, maybe I'll do something. And now, Jack's about to graduate this year. So maybe, maybe I'll move then, but then I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah. And like that's like me. I had it in my head for years. I was going to the beach. And now it's, I just get older and it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. It's funny. I was going to say this a minute ago, but people like we used to be, the only contribution that Fairview had to Williamson County was like when we were in school, like we basically enabled them to have snow days because of all of our back roads and everything.
Because we had Fernvale and we had Pinewood Road and we had all the roads through Pinewood, all the gravel roads that went through creeks. If it rained hard, we got out because the creek got up and the buses couldn't cross the creeks out in Pinewood.
Yeah, I always thought that was funny that like nobody cared about us except for that, But it's beautiful out here, man. I love it. And I really appreciate your love for the city. You obviously contribute and you're doing a lot of volunteering and volunteering your time to do all that announcing and everything else that you've done in the city is huge.
Yeah. Well, I love it around here. I just do. Like I said, I went through a period after, graduating and, things like that. You lose track of things, when you start having kids and get married and, you're trying to live the dream and you start losing track of your high school and sports and stuff like that. And, as I got older and the kids, started getting on up to college age and stuff, I had a chance to come back to it. But, man, I do enjoy it. I really do. I take a lot of pride in the 799.
In the 799. People, the people now probably don't know what the 799 is.
Probably not. They probably think 266 or something like that.
Yeah, the 266.
Yeah, but no, it's the 799. Always will be.
One of the last things I got for you.
Oh, gosh.
I wanted to show you this picture.
Oh, man.
I forgot. You can see it over there. But there's this picture of you at one of the Timapaloozas. You were bigger then, and I was smaller then. And that's me and my band playing in the living room while you were killing that.
Man, I was wearing it out on the dust broom.
Yeah, you were. You were killing it on that broom, man. Look at you.
Man, was I actually singing? I was pretty close to the mic.
Yeah, you were singing. You pushed me out of the way. And I was like, all right.
How are those guys doing, man? Is that Josh back on the drums?
Yeah, that's Josh. I hadn't talked to him in a long time. I haven't talked to any of those guys in a while. I was going to call them up and get them on the podcast. We could talk about some of these old times here.
Man, I tell you what, you guys were a bunch of talented dudes. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Good music.
I appreciate that. We had a great time. We loved living over there. Me and Nikki loved raising the kids over there. And I remember we cleared everything out of the living room right there so we could set up the band and play.
I was telling somebody about that the other day. Maybe my brother. I was telling him about that the other day. It's like, man, they used to throw a party every year and they would just go in there and take every piece of furniture out, open the French doors and set the band up and just let it blare out to the back. I said, it was awesome.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to find, like, you don't get to choose your neighbors.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And you being a good neighbor, we had a great time. I mean, like I said, we were in your backyard. So we had to get along no matter what.
Oh yeah. Well, my brother and his band way back in the high school, they played in the building back behind our house, and man, they would practice 2 or 3 times a week, and you could hear those guys a couple miles down the road. And our neighbors never said a word ever. And they could hear that stuff for a couple miles down the road. Never ever said a word. Just ever. Great neighbors. I still have great neighbors to this day. I have a couple new ones. The one behind me is from California, and then the ones right next door. They just moved in. They've only been there a couple months from South Nashville, but they're great. They're not here to change anything. They just appreciate the country life. Yeah. They're tickled to death to be here.
That's awesome. That's I love. That's what I love when people do come here. They get to. It's kind of like you can give them a nudge. You're like, see, man, this is awesome here. That's they had a desire for it because they wanted to leave where they were, and then they got here, and it was everything and more of what they wanted.
Exactly. So yeah, I can never blame anybody for taking up residence here. I just can't.
Yeah.
You know, that's the dream they were looking for, and they found it. They found our secret. So,
well, Fairview is living the dream here. But Bert, I appreciate you coming out here, and I appreciate you doing this.
Good time, Tim. It's good to see you. It's an awful good time. I'll come back anytime, man.
When you come out here and you get to talk about Fairview for an hour or so, that's awesome. So if you know anybody else that wants to come on and talk Fairview, we don't have to talk Fairview. We can talk about anything anybody wants.
Sure. I'll just let me know what you're looking for, man. I can give you some guests. I know a lot of good folks.
All right. Thanks, Bert. We'll see you soon.
Tim, good to see you. Thank you, man.
See ya.